There is a quiet danger hiding in the dairy aisle, and it wears the label low-fat fruit yogurt. For decades, this kind of yogurt has been marketed as the heart-healthy choice, the smart alternative for people watching their weight. But when the fat is removed, something far worse takes its place. Sugar. Lots of it. Every spoonful that promises to be light and clean actually floods the body with glucose, pushing the pancreas to overwork and the blood sugar to spike and crash like a roller coaster. For older adults, those swings are not just uncomfortable. They quietly damage muscle strength and metabolic stability. At a small kitchen table in Ohio, 68-year-old Ruth used to start her mornings with a cup of light berry yogurt. She believed she was doing everything right. Less fat, fewer calories, a responsible breakfast. But after a few months, her doctor told her that her triglycerides had doubled and her energy was fading. The culprit wasn't the fat she removed, it was the sugar she unknowingly replaced it with. One serving contained nearly 25 grams of added sweeteners, hidden under names like fructose syrup and natural flavor. As we age, our bodies no longer need less fat. They need the right kind of fat. Natural fat slows digestion, supports hormone balance, and helps absorb calcium and vitamin D. It steadies energy and keeps you full longer. Real, full-fat yogurt is not the enemy. It is the missing key that allows nutrients to work properly. The so-called low-fat label may look safe, but for many seniors, it has quietly stolen strength and stability, one cup at a time. If low-fat yogurt quietly undermines your strength, then flavored Greek yogurt is the smooth talker that seems healthy but hides more than it reveals. After Ruth made the switch to full-fat yogurt, she encouraged her neighbor Frank to reconsider his choices too. Frank, 71 and proud of his post-retirement fitness routine in Arizona, had always trusted Greek yogurt. It looked thick, clean, packed with protein, and came in bold blueberry or peach flavors. He believed it gave him power. But what he did not see were the additives swirling just beneath the surface. Flavored Greek yogurts often rely on artificial thickeners like carrageenan, a seaweed-based gum linked to gut irritation and inflammation, especially in older adults with sensitive digestion. They also pack synthetic flavors and preservatives like potassium sorbate, which do little for your health and much for the product's shelf life. The protein boost, too, is often enhanced with powdered milk solids, pushing the kidneys to work harder, something many aging bodies cannot afford. Frank started to notice that something was off. The yogurt that once made him feel strong left him bloated and tired. His doctor found signs of early irritable bowel trouble and reduced microbiome diversity. The real blueberry flavor he trusted? It was mostly chemical. The texture he loved? It was engineered. And the benefit he hoped for? It had vanished behind a shiny label. When it comes to your gut, real ingredients matter. And the wrong kind of Greek yogurt may not just trick your taste buds, it can slowly damage the system that supports your immunity, energy, and focus. After Frank stopped eating flavored Greek yogurt, he felt some relief, but his search for a healthier option led him straight into another trap. One morning at his local grocery store, he picked up a brightly labeled cup that read, "Zero sugar, 20 grams of protein." It looked like the perfect upgrade, but what he didn't realize was that this so-called protein yogurt was hardly yogurt at all. It was a lab-designed product with the appearance of health, but none of the life-giving elements real yogurt should offer. Frank wasn't the only one. In California, 66-year-old Leonard made the same switch. He was proud of his decision to cut sugar and boost protein. For weeks, he replaced his breakfast with these convenient cups. But soon, his energy dipped. He felt dizzy in the afternoons. His digestion slowed, and bowel movements became unpredictable. His doctor later discovered that his gut bacteria had been severely depleted. Many of these modern protein yogurts are made from milk protein concentrate and thickeners like gelatin. They are stripped of live cultures, then flavored with artificial sweeteners like sucralose or acesulfame potassium. These sweeteners act like antibiotics in the gut, killing off good bacteria and leaving behind an imbalance that affects digestion, immunity, and even mood. Without live probiotics, these yogurts do not support gut health. They silently weaken it. Leonard's body wasn't breaking down nutrients anymore. It was struggling, and no label could explain that. What looked like a high-protein solution turned out to be an empty promise. designed for shelf life, not real health. The truth is, protein alone is not enough. It must come with life fermented, real, and balanced, something Leonard would only realize later, after one more mistake. It was only after Leonard's health declined that he began to question everything he thought he knew about yogurt. Hoping to treat himself to something lighter, he started replacing his afternoon snack with frozen yogurt. It felt like a harmless indulgence, a cooler, creamier cousin of the real thing. And for a while, it seemed to lift his mood. But his gut had other plans. Frozen yogurt is often advertised as a healthier dessert. The name alone suggests it carries all the benefits of traditional yogurt: probiotics, calcium, digestive support. But in truth, most frozen yogurts have lost nearly all of their beneficial bacteria by the time they reach your spoon. The pasteurization, the freezing, the flavoring, they all kill what makes yogurt worth eating in the first place. Worse yet, what remains is sugar. Lots of it. Some brands contain up to 35 grams of added sugar per serving. That much sugar spikes insulin, feeds bad gut bacteria, and worsens inflammation, especially in seniors. Add in emulsifiers and gums like carboxymethylcellulose, and you have a recipe for gut irritation, joint pain, and fatigue. In Texas, 69-year-old Elaine made frozen yogurt a Sunday ritual. A little low-fat vanilla cup after church felt like comfort, but within a year her knees started swelling, her energy dipped, and her digestion slowed. Her doctor told her it was not just age, it was chronic inflammation, likely triggered by what she thought was a healthy treat. For Leonard, for Elaine, and for so many others, the lesson was clear. Not all yogurts are created equal, and sometimes, the ones that seem the safest are quietly doing the most harm. But the story does not end here, because now, we shift from damage to healing, from what breaks the gut to what can rebuild it. After learning the hard way, Leonard and Elaine both began searching for something real, something that could truly support their aging bodies, not just comfort their cravings. That search led them, almost by accident, to a yogurt many had forgotten: goat milk yogurt. It was not flashy. It did not come in rainbow flavors or promise extra protein. But it did something the others could not. It healed. Goat milk yogurt has been used for centuries in traditional diets, especially in places where people age well and stay active long into their 70s and 80s. What makes it different is its structure. The fat globules are smaller, the curd is softer, and the protein is easier to digest. For older adults with sensitive stomachs, this means less bloating, less heaviness, and more comfort after every meal. Even more importantly, goat milk yogurt is naturally rich in calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, all critical for strong bones. And it is packed with live bacteria like Lactobacillus acidophilus, a strain known to reduce gut inflammation and strengthen the immune system. In a small town nestled in the hills of Vermont, 74-year-old Thomas started making goat milk yogurt at home with his daughter. For years he had suffered from brittle bones and stomach discomfort. But within weeks of switching to goat yogurt, he felt different. He stood taller. His digestion became smoother. And during his next checkup, his doctor was surprised to see improvements in both his bone density and vitamin D absorption. It was not a miracle. It was biology, real food working with the body, not against it. Goat milk yogurt may not sit in the spotlight, but for seniors, it offers exactly what most modern products have taken away: gentle strength, quiet nourishment, and a return to balance. Thomas's experience reminded his son-in-law of something he had once heard from a nutritionist: sometimes the simplest foods are the most powerful. That conversation sparked a shift at their family table, and soon they added another forgotten staple to their daily routine: plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. Unlike the sugar-filled versions that had failed Frank, this was the real kind: thick, tangy, and alive with culture. What sets true Greek yogurt apart is how it is made. It is strained slowly to concentrate the protein and probiotics, without adding synthetic thickeners or flavors. It retains the healthy fat your body needs to absorb key vitamins and support hormone health. And it is naturally lower in lactose, making it easier to digest for aging stomachs. The probiotic strains in Greek yogurt, including Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus, do more than aid digestion. They help the body produce enzymes, reduce inflammation, and strengthen the immune response. That makes a real difference after 60, when nutrient absorption tends to slow and fatigue becomes a quiet companion. In the coastal town of Oregon, 70-year-old Michael started replacing his nightly snack with a small bowl of full-fat Greek yogurt topped with chopped walnuts. It was a simple change, but within a few weeks, he noticed his mind felt sharper. His sleep deepened. His doctor pointed out improvements in his triglycerides and a steadier blood sugar level. Michael no longer felt like he was slowing down. He felt like his body was waking up again. Real Greek yogurt does not promise perfection. It does not need to. It simply restores what modern eating has taken away: balance, strength, and a healthy gut that knows how to do its job. And for seniors like Michael, that is more than enough. Michael's improvement inspired his neighbor, Margaret, who had been quietly struggling with fatigue, irregular digestion, and joint stiffness for years. She had tried Greek yogurt before, but when Michael told her about something even more potent, kefir, she listened closely. What she discovered changed everything. Kefir yogurt is not just food. It is fermentation in its most active form. Often called the yogurt that never sleeps, kefir contains up to 30 different probiotic strains, far more than standard yogurt. For people over 60, whose gut bacteria naturally decline in diversity, kefir offers a second chance at balance. It does not just pass through the gut, it colonizes it. The beneficial bacteria in kefir stay, multiply, and rebuild what time has worn down. Margaret, now 72 and living in a quiet neighborhood outside Chicago, began drinking a small glass of kefir each night instead of her usual herbal tea. It was tangy and slightly fizzy, but it felt alive. Within weeks, the bloating that had followed her for years disappeared. Her sleep became deeper. Her knees no longer ached every morning. Her doctor later confirmed what she already felt. Her inflammation markers had dropped by nearly half. Scientific studies have shown that kefir not only restores bacterial diversity but also helps synthesize vitamins like B12 and K2 directly in the gut. It enhances calcium absorption and supports immune regulation, key defenses for healthy aging. Margaret's story is not unusual. It is simply what happens when the right kind of life returns to the gut. In a world full of shortcuts, kefir remains wonderfully old-fashioned. It does not just supplement digestion. It repairs it. And for seniors who feel their system slowing down, that kind of renewal is a gift worth rediscovering. Margaret's story sparked a quiet curiosity in her daughter, Susan, who had been watching her mother regain energy and peace of mind. One evening, Susan asked what made kefir different from other yogurts. Margaret smiled and answered, "It's alive." That one word stayed with Susan. A few days later, she found herself searching for ways to go even deeper, ways to bring that aliveness into her own kitchen. That search led her to something beautifully simple: homemade yogurt. While kefir restored Margaret's gut, Susan discovered that homemade plain yogurt could do more than restore, it could renew from the ground up. Unlike store-bought brands that rely on pasteurization, stabilizers, and mass production, homemade yogurt is exactly what it claims to be. Warm milk, a live culture, time, no artificial thickeners, no preservatives, no sugar disguised as flavor. What surprised Susan most was how much more vibrant she felt within just a few weeks of making and eating her own yogurt. Her digestion improved, her skin looked brighter, and her mood stabilized. And science backed her up. Homemade yogurt contains up to 100 times more live probiotic colonies than commercial brands. It enhances the absorption of calcium, magnesium, and B vitamins. And it strengthens the gut lining, helping reduce chronic inflammation that often lingers unseen in aging bodies. At 70, Susan never imagined she would become the kind of person who ferments her own food. But now, it is a quiet ritual, a jar on the counter, a spoonful every morning, and a new sense of control over her health that no label or marketing campaign could ever offer. For Susan, for Margaret, for anyone willing to slow down and reconnect with the basics, homemade yogurt is more than food. It is a form of healing passed from one generation to the next. As Susan stirred her jar of homemade yogurt one morning, she looked at her mother with quiet gratitude. What started as Margaret's personal journey to ease joint pain had become a ripple of change across their family. From Ruth's well-meaning mistake with low-fat yogurt, to Frank's battle with inflammation, to Leonard's fatigue, and Elaine's Sunday indulgence turned sour, each story carried the same lesson: Not everything labeled healthy is built for healing. But from those moments of discomfort came something deeper, a return to what the body truly needs. Goat milk yogurt reminded Thomas that strength can come in gentler forms. Michael's full-fat Greek yogurt reconnected him with his body's rhythm. Margaret's discovery of kefir reignited her gut's resilience. And Susan's homemade yogurt turned a daily habit into a daily act of self-care. The truth is simple. Your gut does not ask for perfection. It asks for support. It does not need artificial protein blends, flashy fruit flavors, or zero-fat promises. It needs life, living bacteria, real enzymes, natural fats, and time. That is what the body recognizes. That is what allows it to do what it was designed to do: repair, absorb, strengthen, and protect. If you are over 60 and you feel like your energy is fading or your digestion is not what it used to be, the solution may not lie in something new. It may lie in something ancient. Yogurt, in its purest form, is not dessert. It is medicine. A food created not in labs, but in kitchens. A gift not from marketers, but from generations past, who understood that real nourishment takes time, care, and patience. And maybe that is the point. Health does not always come from doing more. Sometimes, it comes from doing less, but doing it right. 1 spoon of homemade yogurt. 1 small shift from flavored to plain. 1 quiet return to balance. These small decisions, made day after day, become the rhythm that carries your health forward, gently and steadily. So ask yourself, what kind of yogurt is in your fridge right now? What kind of nourishment are you offering your body each morning? If your answer leaves you unsure, you are not alone. But you are not stuck either. You can begin again. You can switch the cup. Try something new. Or maybe try something older than you expected. Let your next spoonful be a choice, not a habit. A gesture of care, not compromise. And if you have ever made your own yogurt at home or plan to try, share your story. Your small change might be the encouragement someone else needs to begin theirs. Because sometimes, the greatest healing does not come from a prescription. It comes from something as simple as milk, a culture, and a little time left on the counter.